Hi there, Doug Stewart with IT Creations. Do you remember just a few short years ago, everybody was wanting a workstation with AMD processors? Well, your wishes have been fulfilled by a number of vendors at this point. But remember, Lenovo was the first with a Lenovo ThinkStation P620 in 2020. I did cover that one shortly after it came out, and you can see it here. Today I have the Lenovo ThinkStation P8 Workstation. Yes, finally, the next-gen version. This system is equipped with an AMD Ryzen Threadripper PRO 7000WX series CPU. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see more reviews, new and relatively new servers and workstations. Let's get to it. The ThinkStation P8 also features the Aston Martin design aesthetic for the front grille with red accent touch points, which I do like. Lenovo also sent this really cool monitor along with the workstation, the Lenovo ThinkVision 27 3D. It shows 3D vision without glasses. It's super cool. I was a little skeptical at first, but it is the real deal. I think we'll do a separate video for the monitor along with benchmarks for this system. Not sure how that's going to play out just yet, but stay tuned. Maybe subscribe. Anyway, there's a lot to cover on just this workstation. The P8 supports AMD Threadripper CPUs with 12 to 96 physical cores and 24 to 192 virtual threads, depending on your choice. There are a few to choose from. It can also support up to 3 double-wide NVIDIA RTX 6000 ADEC cards, or up to 4 single-wide NVIDIA RTX A4000 ADEC cards. We'll get to that. The ThinkStation P620 supported the previous generation AMD Ryzen Threadripper PRO 5000 and 3000WX series processors. Still impressive at 12 to 64 cores, but featuring Zen 3 architecture. There is definitely an improvement in processing power with the AMD Ryzen Threadripper PRO 7000WX processors, delivering Zen 4 architecture and more cores at up to 96. That said, the more cores, the lower the base frequencies. When we do the benchmarks for the P8, we'll also take a look at what we got on the P620 a few years back. It should be interesting. Are you interested in the Lenovo ThinkStation P8 Workstation? If you are, then for a limited time you can save up to $500 off a system that's listed or one that you configure that's valued at $5,000 or more. Just click that link, and when you're ready to make a purchase, just mention this video. You too could be experiencing super fast processing similar to the speed of the Aston Martin Superleggera. Just on a computing level, that is. On the front panel, you've got 2 USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 connectors, one always on, also 2 USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 connectors. All of those offer 10 gigabit per second connection and are optional depending on the configuration. There is a power on button at the top, and below the USB ports, a headset connector, diagnostic panel switch, and a diagnostic panel. Below that we have a 15-in-1 card reader, but you can get a front accessible storage bay with optional lock. More on that in a minute. That dot above the I in ThinkStation lights up when the system is on. It kind of reminds me of something. I'm sure it's nothing. That diagnostic panel will turn automatically if there is an error. You can also turn it on manually by pressing the diagnostic panel switch. If there are multiple error events, a short press of the diagnostic switch will scroll through the error events and display a QR code of the selected event. You can clear the panel by holding the diagnostic panel switch for 3 seconds. There is a website that provides information on the error code. I will place that link in the description too. The system is compatible with both Ubuntu Linux and Windows 11 Pro operating systems. Accessing the Vantage app can help you update and configure hardware settings, keep BIOS and firmware updated, and monitor the health of your system, among other things. All you need to do is type Vantage in the Windows search panel to activate. A single speaker on this system is powered by a high-definition Realtek codec. On the rear panel, there are choices for either a 1000 watt or 1400 watt, 92% efficient PSU. GPUs crave power. If you're installing 3 double-wide GPUs, get that 1400 watt PSU. There are potentially 1 or 2 key nests on the back of the system, one for the optional side panel lock and the other to release the optional front accessible NVMe M.2 drive caddy. Then a power on button, line in, line out connectors, USB-C 2x2 connector, 3 USB-A 3.2 Gen 2, 2 high-speed USB-A 2.0, and then 2 RJ45 ports. The one on the bottom offers 10 gigabit Ethernet, while the other to the side provides 1 gigabit Ethernet. Optionally, the system can be outfitted with a serial port and 2 PS2 ports. The small slot on the right is for a Kensington lock. Have you ever seen Bitchin' Rides on the Velocity channel? The side handle kind of reminds me of the custom Ken Diggett designed door handles. push and pull. But again, Aston Martin Superleggera inspired. So yeah, the door handles are much better. By the way, inside the cover are further instructions for installing components and includes a diagram of the system board layout. The Wi-Fi module supports Wi-Fi 6E standard along with Bluetooth 5.2. As a matter of note, there are red touch points throughout the chassis to indicate toolless removable parts, and you can remove just about everything. The internal SATA bays come with cables to connect 2 SATA drives. Fully outfitted, the Lenovo P8 can provide up to 52 terabytes of storage across 9 drives. That includes M.2 storage devices at up to 4 terabytes each, U.3 PCIe NVMe drives at up to 15.36 terabytes, and 3.5-inch SATA drives with a 12 terabyte capacity. NVMe and SATA RAID is supported through the BIOS. Using the integrated SATA controller, RAIDs of 0, 1, and 5. The onboard NVMe controller will provide RAIDs of 0, 1, 5, and 10. As Lenovo states in their reference guide, the storage capacity supported on this is based on test results with current Lenovo storage offerings. Given that, I think we can safely assume higher capacity drives are supported, but were just not available at the time of testing. Along with the optional front storage cage that holds a single M.2 drive and a pop-out aluminum caddy, there is also the option to support another 3.5-inch SATA drive inside the chassis. The system does not come with a plastic cover to direct airflow over the CPU cooler, but maybe that's because the optional internal 3.5-inch storage drive cage straddles the CPU and memory modules. Could also be that gigantic dual fan heatsink. You can have either 9 drives, 7 drives, or up to 6 drives depending on what type of storage you want to install. Definitely other storage configurations, but these are the capacities Lenovo provides for maximizing either your NVMe M.2, SATA mixed with M.2, or U.3 NVMe plus NVMe M.2 sprinkled with a little SATA seasoning. With the 9-drive configuration, you get 8 M.2 drives for 32 terabytes and a single 3.5-inch SATA drive at 12 terabytes for a total storage capacity of 44 terabytes. Since there are only 3 M.2 drive slots on the system board, the 4th one goes in the optional front storage bay. The other M.2 drives on this scenario are from installing 4 M.2 drives in the 2 internal 3.5-inch storage bays. Each bay can access up to 2 M.2 drives with the optional 3.5-inch M.2 NVMe bay kit. There is a kit that you can use to modify the SATA drive cage to accept the NVMe M.2 drive option. The kit includes 2 84-pin NVMe Gen 4 Type 2 cables that are attached to the internal bay backplate on one end and to the internal storage cage slot 1 and slot 2 connectors on the motherboard. 2 modded out 3.5-inch drive trays are also included to hold the M.2 drives. If you don't already have one, you will also need to install the internal bay fan. This still allows for the optional front M.2 storage option, and the M.2 drive on the lower portion of the chassis is also unaffected by installing this kit. The ThinkStation P7 will only allow the installation of a single M.2 drive in each of the internal 3.5-inch drive bays. You get a dual drive bonus with the P8. The single 3.5-inch drive in this scenario installs in the optional 3.5-inch drive carrier that straddles the CPU and memory modules. So there you have it, 8 M.2 drives paired with a single 3.5-inch SATA drive for 9 drives total. The 7-drive option includes 4 M.2 drives for 16 terabytes and 3 3.5-inch drives offering 36 terabytes for a total of 52 terabytes. That configuration includes the 2 internal 3.5-inch drive bays plus the optional internal 3.5-inch drive cage across the CPU and memory module slots. Lastly, the front optional storage bay outfitted with an NVMe M.2 drive and all 3 internal NVMe M.2 slots loaded. Lastly, well, maybe not, the 3.5-inch U.3 NVMe bay kit that can support 2 U.2 or U.3 NVMe drives at up to 15.36 terabytes each. The kit is very similar to the NVMe M.2 kit as far as installation goes and utilizes the same PCIe cables and mounting bracket, but the actual U.3 carrier tray and interposer boards are different. This kit would be paired with the 3 NVMe M.2 drives supported on the motherboard and the optional front accessible NVMe M.2 drive for a total of 4 NVMe M.2 drives. Total capacity with this configuration would be about 46 terabytes of storage. I have placed a link for the P8 storage configurator guide in the description below for more in-depth information on installing the optional storage features and the associated part numbers for the kits. On another note, I'm not sure why that last option you can't still install a dual or quad M.2 drive add-in PCI card and bump up capacity to say 68 terabytes or maybe 2 of those for up to 84 terabytes of storage. That said, those last add-in cards would take up to 2 of the by 16 PCI lanes where you could install a GPU. GPUs or storage. Still, you don't need to choose. Either way, you still get terabytes of storage, and even in that last hypothetical scenario, at least 2 GPUs. And talking about GPUs, there are a bunch of vetted choices available from both NVIDIA and AMD. That choice will also determine how many monitors you can attach to the system. If you have 4 graphics cards with 4 monitor connects, then yes, you can attach up to 16 monitors. There are 4 PCI 5.0 by 16 slots with a by 16 length width. The CPU supports 128 PCI 5.0 lanes, but there are not a lot of PCI 5.0 compatible expansion options on the market, as you can see from all the supported GPUs. They all use a PCI 4.0 by 16 interface. The P8 can be outfitted with either up to 3 double-width GPUs or up to 4 single-width cards. One of those by 16 slots will definitely not see the light of day with these double-wide cards installed. Then there are 2 PCI 5.0 by 8 slots and a single PCI 4.0 by 8 slot. Not surprisingly, there are a few restrictions regarding GPU installations. One of which is you cannot install a 3.5-inch drive in that optional internal drive cage if you are running the NVIDIA Quadro Sync 2 or a GeForce 4000 graphics card. That said, there are certainly options for an assortment of expansion cards. If you want to rack mount this server, it can be divided among several people, and you may add in additional NICs. You can also add an optional Thunderbolt card to the mix for super fast data transfers, or a Mega RAID controller for more RAID options. Our system came with an NVIDIA RTX A6000 GPU, a single one. We added a few more just to even it out a bit. Vanity really, but whatever. It offers 48 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory and offers active cooling. It has a PCI 4.0 by 16 interface with a 300 watt power draw, 28,300 million transistors with 10,752 shading units, 336 texture mapping units, 112 ropes or render output units, and 84 ray tracing acceleration cores. Oh, and 336 tensor cores. There are 4 DisplayPort 1.4a to connect up to 4 monitors. The A6000 is a very flexible enthusiast-class professional graphics card for designers, engineers, scientists, and artists. With those tensor cores, it can be used for machine learning applications and AI, but it also excels at graphics rendering. It ranks right up there at the top of the stack, but below a few other cards. AMD's Ryzen Threadripper PRO 7000 WX series processors provides the computing power for the Lenovo ThinkStation P8. It is the compelling feature of this system, with processors starting at 12 cores all the way up to 96 cores. It's designed to accelerate workflows for artists, architects, engineers, and all sorts of other artistic and technical pursuits. It offers enterprise-class features and performance. Base clock frequencies range from 2.5 GHz at the top core count with the 96-core Threadripper PRO 7995WX to 4.7 GHz with the lowest core count Threadripper 7945WX CPU offering 12 cores. Frequencies do decline with core count, but across the board, the max frequencies listed range from 5.3 GHz up to 5.1 GHz at 96 cores. Remember, we will be doing a benchmark video on this system shortly after we post the video. Our system does have that 7995WX with 96 cores. With 8 memory channel architecture, this system has 8 DDR5 memory module slots on the system board. The previous generation AMD Ryzen Threadripper PRO 5000WX series only supported 4 memory channels. With the Ryzen Pro 7000 WX series, memory speed is up to 48,000 MHz for both registered and 3DS registered DIMMs, both offering ECC. This platform will provide up to 1 terabyte of DDR5 memory with all slots loaded with 128 GB memory modules. We currently have 32 GB memory modules in 4 slots for up to 128 GB of memory. From my research, it seems like the current 7000 WX series can support up to 2 terabytes using 256 GB memory modules in all slots, but for unknown reasons, only 1 terabyte is listed as maximum capacity for this system. Perhaps that will change. If you want to make sure that there are no unexpected frequency reductions, be sure to follow the instructions for installing the memory modules. P8 fits right in between the Intel W3400 powered P7 and the ThinkStation PX featuring dual 4th generation Intel Xeon Scalable CPUs. You get up to 56 cores with the P7 and up to 120 cores with dual Intel Xeon Scalable CPUs. So the P8 right in there. And all of them are very well designed. I think I covered just about everything, but if I didn't, then you can ask a question and leave it in the comment section below. And remember, we will be doing some benchmarks on the processor and that NVIDIA RTX A6000 card. Oh, and the Lenovo ThinkStation 27 3D monitor, which I might add looks very nice with the P8. If you are looking for more information, check in the description below or click that link right there, itcreations.com. Until next time, I'm Doug Steeman with IT Creations, and thanks for watching.